Hello, and welcome to the second episode of Moms with Yarn. I'm Sharon, also known as Bronx Knitter.
And I'm Tracy, also known as TB McCarthy on Ravelry.
We're
Look,
here. Welcome. And if you saw us the first time and you're back, thank you.
yay! You like
Yay!
this enough? We didn't screw up too much.
Yeah.
For your feedback. As you can see, we're trying something new with the earphones. This will probably not be permanent. We're just trying it out this time. We'll see how it goes.
Yes, if you hear an echo, please leave us that feedback as well.
Yep.
Just means we're going to have to pay some money.
This is
Which,
not our full-time job, so we're trying to keep it low cost. But
exactly.
we didn't hear the echo. We had been talking for about 20 minutes before this, so we didn't hear the echo. But if you do, let us know.
Right. And I'd like to give a special thank you to the people who subscribe new to our channel. And thank you for waiting so long for the second episode.
Yep.
Yay! So we're going to start our show. And we're going to start with finished objects, of which,
And off to you, Sharon.
oh, I have one finished object. This is,
You're carrying the show this week.
yes, okay. This is one finished object. I made the log cabin blanket.
And I love, love, love the colors of these. So nice. These are
I,
definitely my colors.
yeah,
Like,
thank you. I made it with Woolies in sport weight. Don't laugh at my labels,
yeah,
Tracy,
right.
because they're probably from the 80s.
Yep.
I used sport weight, which in white, which was discontinued several years ago, as were the labels. And I also used the worsted weight. And if you didn't know, now you know it's from deep, 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 deep stash. I might have gotten this yarn when I was 8.
And I wasn't even born yet.
And you weren't born yet. So the colors of the yarn are, I used a US size 6 needle, which is a 4.0 millimeter. Is that right?
That is right.
Okay. So this color is gray heather. This is white, of course, navy, and this is blue heather. And this is going to my cousin who lives in Florida. She just had a baby boy. And because it isn't very big, it's more like a mat for the baby to lay on. So,
Yeah, I think those size blankets are perfect for the little carrier that they're in, and also when they get out of that carrier, for them to pull it up on themselves because they're so small and they
yeah.
like to cuddle up and they get a lot of use out of them. So I prefer those size blankets having little kids of my own. So I think it's going to be perfect. And I love the size.
Yes, it's cute, and I hope she likes it. I just have to wash it and mail it off, and hopefully I'll get some pictures of her
Yeah,
using the blanket. Because
nice.
really, the biggest compliment you can pay anybody who makes things for other people is to use it. If you
And,
save it, and what's the point?
and I think that as well, to ensure someone to reknit for you is to show them that you wear it. Because if you don't, you can be sure that that person's never going to knit for you again.
And that's a huge way to get X'd off the knitting
Yeah.
list.
I've had a few X's off of my
Oh
knitting
yeah,
list.
that would
Yeah.
be a big red circle with a line through
Yep.
it.
Yep.
Yep.
I agree. I
Okay.
agree.
So that does it for my FOs. Do you
Okay.
have any whips?
I do have one whip, and don't judge me. I only have one. So last week I told you guys that I was going to be starting my second Linlin. So I did. And I'm actually on the wrong side now. I'm finishing up a wrong side row. So I'm just going to try and turn it around a little and show you the right side. So I finished up the ribbing, which is all of this section, if you can see. And I actually reknit this. I'll show you in the picture. It's probably easier to show you in here. I reknit this section 3 times. So I knit it once, and um, I miscounted the first time. So very, very early on, and I didn't realize it until I was almost finished. And it was because I didn't use stitch markers, my own fault. So I ripped it all back. And then I said to myself I was going to use stitch markers, and I inadvertently placed the stitch marker before the wrap instead of after the wrap. So by the time I got to the end, I realized that I was way off on my stitch count. So I had to rip it back again. And the third time, I said to myself that if I didn't have the stitch count right, I was either going to shoot myself or just continue on and live in miscount hell. So either way, I finished it. My stitch count was actually spot on, and I moved on. And so once I got through the ribbing, it was really quick. I mean, I want to say I got through the ribbing in like 5 days once I actually cast on the right time and finished the right amount. And then I did what they call the branch section, which is the middle section, which is this section here. I'm on the last 2 rows, I think, of this branch section. Again, that only took me like 4 or 5 days to get through. And then I have this last bit of ruffly section, which is right here. I only have that little bit left, which I'm hoping I can get through in the next couple of days. I have a communion tomorrow, so I don't think I'll be able to get that much done tomorrow. So I'm thinking by early next week I'll be able to get that done. I really do think that I would have had this finished by the time we recorded had I not screwed up multiple times. And then I probably would have had my finished sock. Because as you know, I had finished one sock and I had the second sock almost halfway done. So I think if I hadn't screwed up the first time, I probably would have had that done. I'm doing that on a US 8, which is 5.0 millimeters. Those are on Chiagoos, which I'm going to talk about in a minute. And I'm using the Plucky Knitter Scholar, which is a new yarn for the Plucky Knitter. This is the Plucky Knitter. I don't know if this is showing backwards for you guys, and I apologize if it is, but it's the
No,
Plucky Scholar.
it's facing the right way.
Okay, it's Scholar, and it's made of merino and cashmere, 75/25. It feels, I think I told you last time, it feels very much, it's very soft, but it reminds me very much like the Jared Flood Loft in terms of just like looking like it and texture, but the feel of it is not. It's very, very soft, much softer than that. Um, and I really, really like it. This isn't the headboard colorway. It's like a teal colorway. So I really, really like that. And then what I wanted to talk about in terms of the Chiagoos is that I bought my Chiagoos from Nada. She works through an Etsy shop called Grandma's Hand Knitting. I think it's actually called Grandma's Knit and Crochet, but her shop on Etsy is Grandma's Hand Knitting. It's Etsy shop, Grandma's no apostrophe S Hand Knitting. And this month she's actually offering a discount code. If you use May Flowers, it's 10%. So I order all my stuff through her. She has excellent customer service. She has Chiagoos. I've also ordered my collage, the square needles from her. And I'm going to be placing a couple more orders from her, or at least one more order with a couple more needles from her, because I realize that I use a lot more of certain sizes that I don't have. So I'm going to be placing some orders. So I wanted to pass that along to you guys. It's a great code. 10% is a good code. So just wanted to pass that along.
Yay.
So that's it. That's my whips. I'm really sure that I'm going to have this done by the next time we record. I'm hoping to have that second sock done. And then I'll just continue to chug along on that sweater that I was doing for my husband's assistant. It was the Little Oak in the Baroque vintage DK. So I'll have more progress. I promise.
We can wait. We got time.
I know we do. We're on episode 2, for goodness sake,
Yes,
right?
for goodness sake.
We have time. What about
Right.
you? What are you working on?
Well, I am working on knee socks for my uncle,
The six
and
foot
6'1",
million foot, yeah.
size 12 shoe. Yeah. So I'm using Creatively Dyed in the Sammy base in the colorway Ancient,
Okay.
and I'm also using Osterman Step with jojoba oil
Yeah.
and aloe,
Yep.
and I finished one sock, This is the sock that never ends.
Really, really like that you did the foot in a different yarn.
I told him that the socks would be called There's a Party in My Shoe.
I think that
So this is the creatively dyed ancient.
so you didn't run out of yarn though.
Heck no, I just ran out of patience. And this is the Osterman. And the two colors are not that similar, but they're not far enough apart for me to care.
They look
And neither will he.
they look good knitted up.
So I am using, well, I was using my Addy sock rockets in US size 2, which is 2.75 millimeter. You can see these have a good point.
Do you knit
And the blue cord, that's how you know they're sock rockets.
knit very fast with them?
I knit the same speed as everything else.
They're not like rockets.
No, they might have been considered rockets at one time, but
Not for you.
so when I went to put the heel flap and gusset on, I had to switch to my signature needles, also a US size 2, 2.75 millimeter.
You switch.
Yeah, because I didn't want to be bothered with the cable. Um,
Oh, okay.
so, and I got them at Stitches East, and it comes in a tube with 5 needles, and I just couldn't resist. 2 is my go-to size for sock needles. So I should be finished with the second sock tonight while I'm doing some bedroom knitting. You know, knit nap, knit nap, knit nap. You knit, you wake up, you knit, you nap, you wake up, and you start again.
Nice.
hmm And I have another whip, which is some spinning slash knitting. I don't know what I did. Oh, here it is. I purchased some punta yarn from She Spins LLC,
Okay.
and it looked like this when it was all spun up.
Oh, that's really pretty. I like the colors.
It's called her Fall Colorways. Fall Fall number 5. I don't know what that means.
Wouldn't you think that's spring?
You know, it looks like Tequila Sunrise.
Ah, that's
And
really
when I spun it, I think I got 423 yards.
single ply.
Double ply, 2 ply.
Are you impressed that I know that?
You know yarn. And
I do.
this is yarn. So it came out pretty nice.
I like it.
I love the colors. And so I started working on a pattern by Susan Pandorf, I believe, called Crocus. And I don't know what you see.
Oh, yeah, that's nice.
So, I think it's by Susan Pandorf. Anyway, that's the site that I got it from. And I only got 50 rows in, but you'll see the difference between, because this is worked sideways, between the yarn and the work.
Oh, that's really pretty.
So
It's so yellow.
it's totally, the colors totally pull from another direction with this.
Yep.
And I don't
It
know
looks soft. Is
how
it
much. It is not
like is it
overly, it's not merino soft, but it is still soft.
yeah.
But I understand that it's a merino crossed with something else, but she explained it to me, but I can't remember what it was. All I know is that while I was spinning it, I kept saying, "Oh, look at that pretty
Yeah.
orange or that pretty pink or that pretty." It looks just like there was so much bright yellow in it. It's hard to believe that it disappeared. But
Yeah.
then you knit with it and you find that
Yeah.
it
It's
didn't really disappear. So I'm working on that. That was mindless knitting. And I also did some spinning, which this is not really a spinning show, but I do probably a lot less spinning than knitting. So when I do it, I usually do use the yarn. So you might as well know where that yarn came from because it's not
yeah.
like you could buy it or anything. But I remember when Sock Pixie was selling fiber, I purchased some wool and soy in the willow colorway. And
And she doesn't do that anymore, right?
no, she doesn't. In fact, her website even changed
Yeah.
names. So she's Carolyn Hegwar. Um, Carolyn Hegwar. Probably .blogspot.com still.
Mhm.
But she went from a knitting blog to an embroidery craft blog, and now she's not blogging.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. So this is the willow colorway. It's about 2 ounces and it's a silvery kind of green color. I don't know what you
Okay.
see, but
Yeah, it looks silvery, like
yeah.
bluish almost. Like
Well,
it's silvery, like
yeah.
yeah, it's really nice.
The other 2 ounces was spun and plied and turned into yarn about a year ago. Deep stash. And that is it for me.
Great.
Yeah.
So I just have one thing that I wanted to talk about. I just recently got my club shipment from the Plucky Knitter. I love the Plucky Knitter. It's my favorite, one of my favorite yarn dyers, Sarah over there. And so I just got the club colorway, and it's the April Classics, and it's Barefoot in the Park. And this one is the Plucky Bellow, and it's 200 yards of a merino cashmere. It's 55 merino, 45 cashmere. I guess the one thing that why I wanted to bring this up is because the Plucky Knitter is a very hard yarn to pick up in her, like when she does have updates. She used to have them in on the Etsy website, but she doesn't really do that anymore. She has a lot of blog updates, which means that she'll put them up, but then you generally have to wait like 4 to 5 weeks to get that, or to get that update. And it's specific colorways, specific yarn lines, but you generally have to wait. And but it's at a specific time, and it sells out very quickly. So um, this is a good way to ensure that you'll get plucky yarn, and it doesn't generally sell out. She keeps it open for a while, and you get a chance to decide if you want the bellow line or the primo line, which is generally the classic merino cashmere lines. The um I have it here. It's the merino cashmere and nylon. I have a primo Aran here. So, when I was new to plucky, and I couldn't, score anything in the updates, I would just, sign up for the classics and get like a skein of Aran, or decide to pick a skein of just one skein of fingering and use that for socks, or a shawl, or just to try it out. And it was a good way for me to get to learn her yarn line and see what I liked about it and what I didn't like about it. And I learned that there was really nothing that I didn't like about it. A lot of her yarns really fit into the projects that I was picking, and I was picking more projects that I knew would work well with Plucky. So I would suggest that people check out her her website, see what she has out there. And another thing that I wanted to mention is that her Ravelry board, the Plucky Knitter, is a good way to meet people that also like Plucky. And then if you're looking to buy Plucky, there's a specific form on there too for people in search of Plucky yarn. So Because I know a lot of people that say, how do you have so much in your stash? Like, how did you acquire all that? A lot of it is just through, purchasing of the classics and, in the D stashes. So I wanted to answer that question.
Okay, do you have sweater stashes of plucking?
I don't, you know what? I've never knit myself a sweater, to
No?
be quite honest. No, I recently purchased a one sweater quantity of for a crew. It's called the crew. And it's a sweater that has its stripes and it was offered through the Pucky Knitter. I haven't knit it yet though. I'm nervous. I don't ask me why. I mean, I've knit plenty of things in my life. I've knit complicated things. I've knit not complicated things, but I don't know. I think it's just something about gauge. Like I've knit things with gauge, but I just feel like that's a big investment to go through all that time and effort and then to have it not fit. I that would crush me. I don't know. Ripping this back 3 times didn't make me feel so bad because I feel like as much as that was a lot of effort, it to me 3 days worth of work, I didn't mind ripping that back and starting anew. But
Is that shawl for you?
no, it's not for me. So
Therein lies the problem.
yeah,
When
right.
I'm knitting for somebody else, I know it's going to disappear
Yeah,
and they'll either use it or not use it, and I'll never know the reason why
yeah,
for either one.
yeah. Right.
So, but meanwhile, it's done and it's out of sight. It's on your project page. And when it's for somebody else, if you get a little feedback from them, you make an adjustment for the next time, and then it disappears and you never hear from them. But a sweater that you make for yourself that doesn't fit is in your face.
I know, and that's the thing. Like, sweater quantities are expensive, and to spend that kind of money on something that doesn't fit right or you don't love. I mean, I have shawls that I've spent, you know, $100 on the yarn for that I wear to death. I mean, literally, I wear them to death, and I will wear them into the ground, and I love them to death. To me, that's money well spent. I want that to be in a sweater. I want a sweater to look like I'm wearing it to death. And I'm scared of, not having that love for a sweater that I've spent so much money and so much effort on.
Well, you're going to have to start somewhere, especially if you have big sweater quantities, or, you can start off with a sweater that is cropped or, you know, but the funny thing is that not making yourself a sweater is never going to give you the courage that you need to make a sweater.
And that's the thing, like I've done baby sweaters, so the construction of them, like I get it. Like, and I can see where things need to come in. The babies are like and fat, like they don't have boobs and like there are things about a baby that you don't really need to worry about. I get that, but um and again, I'm not worried about ripping things off and restarting. I
You,
just need to jump in. I just need to jump in like I've done with other things. I mean, I just need to do it.
mhm.
I will. Again, the first step was purchasing the sweater quantity. I did that. It's done. So I have it.
I know. I've done that and then end up making like four other small projects for somebody else instead of making the sweater.
Now I have. I'm doing it.
Okay. I'm going to wish you luck. And that said, we are done unless you have anything else.
Yes. I wish everyone a wonderful week. And again, feedback, please. I welcome it. Um, positive feedback, both, in a positive manner, I guess, is what I'm looking for. If you have suggestions on how we can make it better, please bring it on.
Yes, and to the new subscribers, thank you so much for being so patient and waiting for the second episode to come out. We had some technical issues, and this is actually take 2 of episode 2. And hopefully, episode 3 will be in its usual 2 week spot. So it'll be posted before 2 weeks from now, earlier than that. So my new subscribers and the people who left the positive feedback, any feedback, just signing up and watching us when there's so many other podcasts to choose from, thank you so much. Stacy and I don't have a Ravelry page, and I guess we'll need some feedback about whether or not we should even have one. But we're small. We're small and just getting started. So yeah, we have to work our way up to everything. So until next time, everybody, thanks for watching.
Have a great, bye everybody.
Bye.